What's up guys, Ryan here, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to make a bishop for the game chess, obviously. So this model was designed by Joseph Wu, but I made some small changes to it, and I'll explain what I did to it when we get there. But essentially, the original pieces, how he designed them, they are shorter than this and they're fatter than this. And the changes I made, I think look better. So if you don't like the changes I made, you can always just follow the diagrams exactly how they're written. And the diagrams are free online and they're linked in the description. I would highly recommend a piece of 15 centimeter or 5-inch kami, or 6-inch, I don't know, whatever. This is just printer paper because I made a bunch of them. But anyway, let's get started. We're gonna make the bishop. Start with the white side up. Obviously, same color on each side, but white side up. Fold it in half. If you're white side up, by the way, you're going to want to fold it in half, edge to edge, like this. Both sides. And color side up, you're going to fold it in half diagonally. So this is the color side now. And the whole point is so the bird base has color on the outside. You're making a bird base with all of these different pieces, including the bishop. So once you have this, make sure the white side is up, and it's going to be probably like this. Press in the middle, hold the paper like I do, and push in the corners all together. You'll get 4 flaps. Collapse the model with 2 flaps on each side. Okay, so you get this. Now we are going to fold the edges in. This is a primary base. We're going to make a bird base from it, and I'm going to assume you don't know how. So with the flaps like this on the bottom and where they all come together at the top, we are going to fold this edge to the center and this edge to the center. We're just making a bird base, so if you already know how, feel free to skip this part. Okay, once we have this, we are going to fold the top triangle down as far as possible, like so. Unfold the last 3 steps, and now we are going to take the very top flap and fold it up using this crease. But to finish that fold, the side flaps need to be folded to the center, and you're only using creases you've already made. This is what you get. And do the same thing to the other side. I'm gonna zoom in really quick. Not that far. There you go. Okay. And here is the bird base. Okay, now we are going to fold this flap down and this flap down. So we have this. And this is where, for this specific model, for the bishop, I made a couple of changes. But this is where the change I make for every model is. So in the diagrams, it says, if I can scroll up, right, it says to fold this corner to the center, fold all the corners to the center, like this one, this one, this one, and this one. But we're not going to do that yet. We are going to open sync 1/4 of each of these corners. So this is how we're going to do that. Make a reference crease by folding this corner to the center. So don't crease it all the way. Now fold the corner to the reference crease. Specifically where the corner intersects with the reference crease and this horizontal line. Okay, crease this pretty well. Now we're going to open sync the crease we just made. So open it up. Basically push the corner in using the crease we just made. Close it up. So you get this. You'll see how the corner is pushed in. It's open sync into the flap. And we're going to do the same thing for the other 3 flaps. There's no need to make any more reference creases though, because we can use this as the reference. So let's do that. Okay, now the other 2. And the final one. All right, cool. So we are now done with the additional step that I made up. So back to now we can just pretend like it's the diagram basically, but these flaps are 25% smaller, which is going to make the pieces thinner and taller. Okay, so now we are going to take all the flaps and fold them to the center like this. I'm going to crease this well because the paper's getting a little thick. Now these back two. The last one. All right. Cool. All right, next we are going to fold this little triangle up and then unfold. Okay, and now we are to the point where every single one of these models stems from. Okay, so for the bishop, we are going to go on and do the rabbit folds. So this is the hardest step of the whole model. But basically, we are going to rabbit ear fold this flap and this flap. And to do that, we open up this top flap right here. Do not lift this with it. Do not lift this with it. Keep that down. And we are going to now lift this side of the flap and kind of curl it over. Like that. You can see in there. So we're making a crease from this point, but underneath the flap, to this point, which is where, if you draw an imaginary line from this corner to this corner, it's where it intersects the vertical line. So let's do that. Crease it. Okay. So I just made a crease, you can see, from here to here. And we're going to do that same thing to the other side. Like that. Okay, and if you look closely, you should be able to see that triangle. Okay, and now we can do the rabbit ear fold. So now just literally do both folds at the same time, and it'll come toward, they'll like basically hit each other in the center. And now just take this flap and fold it over to the right. This part should, if you did it right, this part should overlap. This part should overlap this thing just a little bit. But honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on the back, but a little bit quicker. All right, there you go. So those rabbit ears are folded, and now we are going to rotate the flaps and do the next ones. But really quick, in the diagrams it says minor miracle. I have no idea why, but I'm pretty sure it's just because that last step was tough, or maybe he like was really happy he discovered that step. I don't know. I have no idea. Also, it skips step 6, which is kind of funny. But anyway. Step 8. Now we're going to rabbit ear fold again, and if you creased it pretty hard, you can almost see the triangle that we're rabbit ear folding. But basically, to make the pre-creases, just fold the edges in like this, pretty much as far as they can go. And then just rabbit ear fold, very similar to what we did before, only a lot easier. Now do the other side. Okay. All right, and we're here. Step 9. Step 10, we are going to open up all these little flaps and squish them. Like so. You're going to want to take this point, so ideally this point goes to this intersection point right here. And you see if it's not reaching, you just pull down a little bit. And it will. And do that for all these little flaps. So again, you see how it's not reaching? If you just pull down, it will. And if you didn't do the adjustments I made, you wouldn't have to do that, and it would be neater, but it works. Okay, and now the other two sides. There we go. Okay, step 11. We are going to be folding all these flaps up. So I'm going to split this step into 2 parts. So first, fold the flap up as far as it goes, but don't like pull it, just fold it like this. So there still should be a little triangle right there. And do that for all the flaps. All right. There we go. All right, and now we are going to look at all these flaps, look at the inside, and kind of just like release this paper. So watch what I do. I fold the flap down. I release the paper, and then I create a new crease on the edge. And ideally, this crease ends up being vertical, like ends up being parallel with this crease. But if it's not, it's no big deal, but it should end up like this. So watch me do it again. release this paper. Sorry I keep rotating this, but it's trying to make it easier for me. So you see how I release this paper, and I'm creating a new edge crease here. Right? And you get this. It's not really a big deal at all if this part is messy or not. You'll see why. But anyway, yeah, that's how you do step 11. And obviously you can just follow the diagrams, but the way I do it is, I don't know, I guess easier, in my opinion. So now I'm gonna do that again for all the flaps. Last one. All right. And the reason I like to show me doing it 4 times in a row is if someone is like stuck on it, they get 4 different examples. But anyway, so that's all that squashing. That's that step. Now we're finally changing the page. All right, so we are going to, for the next step, step 1, I guess. We're gonna fold the top triangle down and back up of all of these flaps, all 4 flaps. All right. Now we are going to make some more creases. So we're going to be folding. Man, let me zoom in again. It's getting small. Okay, there we go. We're going to be folding this edge, or I'm sorry. Well, yeah, this edge down by lining up. So the crease is going to go through that plus sign. Through the center mark, and we're going to be lining up this edge with itself. So the fold looks like this, and see how this edge is lined up with itself. That's the reference, and do the same thing to the other side of the flap. All right, and do that with all 4 flaps. Okay, last step, second to last step. We're going to rabbit ear fold again. So, or third to last step actually, sorry. So, but the ear is gonna end up on the inside. So it's not gonna be as easy as you'd like. It's not this, that is not what you do. You wanna do that, but on the inside, using the creases you just made, like that. Okay, and do that for the other 4 flaps. Let me get a good angle of it. That's what it looks like. All right, let's do the other two. And the last one. Cool. All right, second to last step, and this is where my bishop deviates from. This is another way my bishop deviates from the original. So the original, it says to fold, basically fold this thing down over the flap to the right of it, but I think it looks a lot better if you open up each one of these little triangle flaps and squash it. Okay, we can do that for the other three. The original, it's basically like a locking mechanism, but it just doesn't hold. If you're using foil paper, it would probably be a lot better though. But it would be a lot better to follow the diagrams how they're written. But since I'm not, I'm going to do it my way. All right, last one. They're kind of tough because, well, it's not tough, but it's just annoying because you don't want to fold this flat down too hard or it'll make a crease that looks bad. And they're tough because they're on the inside. But anyway, now we're done. So, well, almost done. So with all these little squares, you want it's hard to explain, but you want the inside to look like this. Here, let me get a good. Okay, I don't even have it yet. Hold on. All right, you want the inside to look like that. Like that. And it'll look good if you do that. Final step is, of course, squashing the bottom. And do not just pull. You need to pull and press at the same time. If you just pull, it'll rip. So pull and press and rotate, and once you get it down, neaten it up. These little twists are annoying. All right, there we go. And finally, to get it to sit flat, just kind of like pinch up on the corners like this to get the edges to go vertical-ish, like straight down. And all right, finally, last step, point one, I guess. Spread out the flaps so they're about equidistant from each other. And the top will look like that. Close enough. And here's the bishop, guys. Let me zoom out again. All right. I hope you were able to follow this tutorial. I hope you were able to make it. Continue on our chess piece journey. If you want to see more videos from me, subscribe. I hope you liked the video, and yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.